Nets Kingdom.
Fuck that house now. I'm back. To the top, I'ma make it. Niggas just can't take it. To the top, I'ma make 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 it. Niggas just can't take it. Yeah.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? We're back. It's AJ, Raid, Syph, coming off a great W in the preseason. Kind of trash hoops, but we're about to do this quick preseason breakdown. The good part is Cam Thomas, Ben Simmons, they did good and they were cooking tonight. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about who was the, not forbidden, but the forgotten player that, one of those players that, you see during preseason that cooks that you wasn't expecting them to cook. We're going to talk about that guy. So we're going to talk about that too. And then make sure you guys hit that like button and follow us too. Also our Hoops channel, Hoops World on YouTube. So make sure you guys check that out on Hoops World. We're going to cook up some content on there if you like just NBA content in general. But yeah, tonight, man, what was your, first impression, Rage, of watching like the team tonight? I know, you got to saw Cam and Ben, but what was your first impressions?
Well, we were able to see pretty early off the bat. I mean, Ben Simmons was attacking early. I mean, he had 6 points within like first 6 minutes and had 2 assists. He was attacking and it was looking solid. He was, going to the basket off the first 3 possessions. I mean, it was like I think he drove essentially the first 2 of those 3 possessions. And we were able to see a lot in terms of that, which was good and helped out our offense a little bit. I mean, it was kind of a shit show in terms of watching these two teams go at it. Like Washington was equally as bad. We watched Kyle Kuzma and Ben Simmons, I guess, and then just airball a shot. But Cam Thomas also looked very, very, very solid. We were able to see him. Just kind of throw up. He was able to back somebody down and then quickly go up, put up with a 3 and stuff. So he was also there as well. But we saw obviously a lot of Dennis Schroeder bringing up the ball too. If Ben Simmons is not driving to the rim, it was just him just kind of kicking it to Dennis Schroeder to let him do something, or just giving it to somebody for 3, or just somebody in the mid range and just kind of dumping it off and letting them do it. But we were able to see that a little bit. CJ, we saw CJ like kind of do nothing in the beginning, and then just out of nowhere he went on like a 7-0 run by himself.
Yeah,
a 7-0 run by himself, get that trade value up. We like that.
Yeah.
We like that.
Yeah. Go ahead, Syph. What was your first impressions first half?
Okay, so yeah, like Raid said, offensively, Ben Simmons looked aggressive. He was attacking the rim, with force, got offensive rebounds, kicking it out. Finished the game with 11 points, 5 rebounds, 5 for 7 from the field, 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Yeah, it was just playing well. It's good to see. Defensively, he looked a little bit slow. He at the 5, I don't really like Ben Simmons defensively because I don't think that's his strength. But that's what you have to do without your bigs and in order to maximize the spacing. Second thing I want to mention is Cam Thomas. So Cam Thomas, 17 points, 7 for 13 shooting, had 5 rebounds and an assist. And only look at the stat sheet. 1 assist doesn't look great, but he actually had 5 or 6 really good passes to his teammates to open shooters, but none of them were hitting. And also playing next to Simmons and Schroeder, those two are going to really initiate the offense the most. And so Cam is mostly going to operate off ball when they're on the court. And other than him, Zaire Williams, when Simmons was on the bench, they typically ran Zaire at the 5. And, it looked good. He had one really nice attack off the catch, kicked it out to Schroeder in the corner, DFS on the wing. And then he hit the 3, so that was really good on him. Had an offensive rebound that turned into a mid-range. That looked nice. Only problem was he was 0 for 4 from 3 tonight. And if you're going to be a small forward, power forward in the league, got to hit a 3.
No, I really like that. With Cam Thomas in that second half, I agree with you. Like the first half, it's funny because I tweeted at halftime. I was like, we need to make sure Cam gets his possessions at the point guard. And his playmaking's got to, that's the emphasis this year. We want his playmaking to be elite, because we already know like scoring is like his first butter. That's his bread and butter. So I feel like the second half, I saw a lot more of Cam playing that one. Even with the starting unit, there was times where like he would bring the ball up and he would get into the offense, and then initiate the ball movement. And I feel like that is probably the most key thing this year, because with preseason, it's gonna, in a tanking year, against the Wizards. Only us would be streaming this right now as a Wizards game, of a
Preseason.
tanking two of the worst teams in the NBA. Let's just make it. The Wizards might be 30, and we're probably 29, right? We're 29 probably, right? So it's like, in a game where nothing really matters, it's like we're just looking for development this year. So with the Cam Thomas playmaking, I think that's great. Zaire, we saw him last game. Impact. He was coming off the bench and he looked like he was getting offensive rebounds. But it's like Cypher saying, like he's got to become more of catch and shoot. He's got to work on his catch and shoot. And then we get to Ben tonight, and then we just saw everything we wanted from Ben. Like, but we've seen it before, right? Is this anything new for Ben? That we have, like, we've seen the glimpses of Ben, like, every single preseason he plays. I still have clips from last year where Ben was cooking in the preseason, and then during the season,
Rub on LeBron James.
yeah, he goes up on LeBron. It's like he just goes ghost during the season, so it's like it's really hard to gauge Ben. But when we get this type of Ben, it could be a different story, because this is not just any other Ben. This is Ben, I'm surviving Ben. This is Ben, if I don't play well this year, I could be gone off the league. I could be in China. I could retire, either retire or China, if he still wants to play. Because I think, let me know, you guys think that Ben could, if he has if he does what he does tonight, let's say every night Ben gives us 14, 8, and 8, do you think that he gets signed in free agency? Like,
How many games does he play?
oof, I'd say like 40. Well, actually, let me do a realistic 50.
Yeah, he'll get signed.
50. That's realistic, right?
Yeah, 14, 8, 50 games. Yeah, he'll get.
If Ben plays, let's say Ben plays 40 to 50 games, and he gives us 14, 8, and 8.
Yeah, he's not getting a max by any means necessary, but he will get a contract.
Okay, yeah, he'll get 800. Okay, I think so too. I don't know. What about you, Rich?
Hey, it might not be from us, but a contract nonetheless. I think, and then ultimately too, like we haven't even seen a season like that out of him yet with us, like at all. We
Yeah.
haven't even seen anything. Honestly, we haven't even seen anything close. So if he can keep that up for a 50-some game span, that's easily the best we've seen, and he'll
Yeah.
get at least a year contract. At least
A vet
another
man?
year, prove it. At least one.
Yeah.
At least one.
A vet man, a vet man will be different, because it's like the Suns could probably get him on a vet man, or like one of those teams, like one of those contending teams could like maybe take a chance on him. But I don't know if
Even a
he's
small market team, like I could see like the Hornets giving him
Hornets.
like a mid-level exception if he plays that well.
Yeah, because tonight I just wanted to see first I wanted to see Cam Thomas playmaking and scoring, because it's always good to watch that, and then I wanted to see what Ben could do. Like, let's see if Ben is the better he looks, because every year it's like, I'll say this. I texted Rage and I was like, "Yo, Ben can't really jump anymore. Like his bounce is kind of gone. I'm not gonna lie. Like he he used to be dunking some of these. Like, do you remember old Ben? Like what Ben used to be doing? And now it's like it looks like he can barely get off the floor. Like he's kind of cooked as far as like I'm just saying like hops wise. If you're trying to get athletic hops, Ben, it's not it no more. Like he could still like defend.
Prime Ben would have dunked this possession right here.
Yeah, this would have been yeah.
That possession right there. That one where he put up that layup. I mean, it went in, but he would have dunked. He would have
He's
dunked that
cooked.
shit.
Yeah, he's cooked. But it's like he can still give you good playmaking. He can still give you, he's still 6'10", 6'11". He can still get to the rim. It's just that it's just like his hops is not there no more. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I could even say his speed is still somewhat there. He's still kind of fast, but it's just jumping. The jumping part. And I guess that's just the back surgeries.
In the second quarter, there was a brief stint where Simmons was on the floor with none of the starters, and it was basically just the bench unit. And you kind of saw like that was when the Wizards started to come back and take their lead. With Simmons, he's not a floor raiser, but when you put him with the starters and surround him with shooters, surround him with creators like Cam Thomas, Dennis Schroeder, yeah, like you see the best of him.
Yeah, I agree because like it's just you definitely do see the best because it's like every time I look at Ben, it's like, yo, I want this guy off my team, but at the same time, it's like, can you get us something? Can you get us something? Like, is there a little bit of chance that Ben gets us something? But I don't know.
It's
What do
better.
you mean
It's
by you
better
mean like
this than
trade
nothing.
something?
Yeah, like a value, like an asset, like you know what I'm saying, like an asset,
No,
just one little asset, just a
nope,
little
That
nope.
contract's too big.
contract's not is it was over, right? It's
40
nothing. All right.
if he was making
Dunzos.
20 million maybe, but
Mhm.
$40 million, like there aren't many players that you could even match salary with.
Not even Danny Ainge, not even Danny, because Danny Ainge took Russ. Danny Ainge took Russ at the end of the.
I don't think I don't
This
think
is
so.
the equivalent to when Blake Griffin was on the Pistons. This is the equivalent
Oh
of that.
yeah, you're right. That's facts. That's facts. That's
This is the
facts.
in terms of him like being to what he was like in the contract. You just have to. That's the only way the dude's gonna go to a different team this year.
Yeah, yeah,
The only way he gets traded is if the Bulls say, "Hey, take Levine's contract. We'll give you a couple of seconds, and we'll take Simmons." Like that's the only way, and Marks isn't going to want to do that.
yeah. He's not gonna want to do that because Levine's contract might be more insane than Ben's right now.
Long
Yeah, it
term, it's
is.
worse.
Yeah, it's definitely worse. Um, I want to talk about real quick. So we talked about Ben and CT because CT was great. Um, let's talk about Shake Milton because I got a text. Shout out to Marcus Reyes. He texted me like, "Yo, I think Shake could be like a six man on our team, like one of those competing for that 6 man spot." So it's like, what do you guys feel about Shake Milton? Like, what do you see his route going into this year? Do you think he's gonna be just like an off the bench get buckets guy? He could probably is Shake Milton flippable or is not really flippable, or he's just one of those like keep him on the team guys, keep him on the team vets?
I don't know. I mean, for now, I mean, we
Mhm.
saw him kind of take that, backup guard load pretty good
Yeah,
in terms of, him being able to just, score essentially. He was really, 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 really efficient tonight. I mean, 6 for 7, two
yeah,
for two from three, and he had 16 points on 3 assists. I mean, that's very good. This dude, we saw him get time, especially, last game as well.
yeah,
But this dude could genuinely, just on I think just on the, this 1 year deal. I mean, for the way our team is right now, I mean, he could totally be that guy off the bench for us, and with Cam Thomas, I mean, we do want to see a lot of that, that point guard type of thing in him, and he'll be able to have that chance with the second team that we kind of saw today, but he'll also be able to get his chances, obviously even, hopefully with the starters. It's just kind of weird with Dennis Schroeder and Ben Simmons on the court in terms of how he's going to operate.
yeah.
But Shake Milton should definitely have the chance to, get time. I mean, and score. I don't think we had a better guy off the bench than him in terms of play offensively. Offensively, him and Jalen Wilson were, I guess, a close second, but Shake Milton was a good way to, he was just there kind of, being, initiating and just doing his thing. He could definitely be
I
that guy
sort
and getting time for us.
I sort of forgot like he existed because he was like an afterthought during the Bridges trade where they
Yeah.
had to sign and trade him to us to make the salary work. And I was thinking about it, but he had a bad year last year, just a down year. But the year before that gave you 8.5 points, 3 assists, 38% from threes, 76 games for the Sixers. Like he was a valuable rotation piece a couple years ago, and he's making basically the vet minimum, like a little bit above the vet minimum. So he could be a valuable player for us. Like he could handle the ball, and this team doesn't have much guard depth. He's got decent size at 6'5". Like, we could trade him at the deadline, and by the way, three-year contract. The following 2 years aren't guaranteed, so we have control over it.
Mhm.
But yeah, he could be a valuable guy for us. Like, we could trade him at the deadline, or we could keep him around.
That's what I was thinking because like when I think of Shake, I'm like at his like peak, he was coming off the bench getting buckets for the Sixers. I remember those days when he was getting buckets. Like he was like in that Emmanuel Quickly, Jamal Crawford type prototype. Like he was coming off the bench scoring, and I'm like, if he keeps doing this like during the season, I can't see like I could see a team, a contender, like coming off the bench for a contender. Like they would love Shake, in my opinion. But
Especially on that contract,
on that
that
contract
contract,
too, yeah,
that contract is easily, what teams would take if we're able to. Hey, it helps us out,
yeah,
right? But in terms of like how at least for the first half of the year, that's we definitely should see him getting, quite a bit of minutes. And, I mean, we don't, how much do we have, right? Coming off the bench. So
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, there's him,
Preseason.
there's him and there's Keon really. Like, what are you going to really get in terms of guys that are going to be playing come regular season time consistently?
Yeah.
And
Now,
this guy,
contract.
he's already been a guy. He's already had experience. I mean, he's well respected, and I mean, we've seen out of these, early preseason games that he can do it.
And regarding his contract, like 3 years, 9 million. Like that's a steal.
He's getting
3 years,
3 a
9
year.
million.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that's like shout out to King Wolf. He said even though we played the Wizards, I still believe we look good on the court. Shout out to you, man. And then shout out to Kevin. He said Finney Smith got outscored by Ben, Jay Martin, and Tyler Martin. Yeah, Dorian. CJ did his thing today, I guess. I'll say that. CJ hit a couple threes, but Dorian, I'm not gonna lie, Dorian looked better in the first game against the Clippers. He looked better that game.
Defensively, I thought DFS looked pretty good tonight, though.
Oh, you think so? Okay, yeah. Defensively, like I said, DFS. That's what I'm saying. I was watching some YouTube videos today, and I'm like, there's other teams that would love DFS and CJ. Like these guys should be traded by at least. I'm not even gonna. Sean should even wait till the deadline. He should do it way before. I'm talking about January, February, like halfway before the All-Star break. That's what Sean should really like make these moves, bro. Because I promise you, there's teams that really want these guys, bro. Like they could. We saw the number of teams that called in for CJ and DFS, bro.
I don't know if it's because the offers aren't there or if it's
Mm.
because like Sean's asking price is too high.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think we could definitely get rid of them for some whatever, but he wants 2 firsts. He wants 2 firsts for CJ and at least a first for DFS, I think. Like last time we had the reporting, or Brian Lewis reported, I think it was like Sean Marks. He wanted multiple first round picks. I think that's what they phrased it as in the article. Multiple first round picks for CJ or DFS, and I was like, I don't know if that's gonna happen, but hey, teams get desperate. We'll see. I don't think teams get that desperate in this CBA, but if I was Sean, I'll take anything I could get right now. For DFS and CJ, like the holdings DFS makes it worse because DFS could opt out and we lose them for nothing. CJ, we're gonna have him for multiple years, yes, but we don't want CJ right now. Like we want tank, we want a tank, and we want to get younger. So it's like, what's the point?
And realistically, there should be a time where we are able to approach, terms like mid-season when it's time for teams to go get trade, time to, make trades. We know how, competitive the East is. We don't. I mean, the West could be very interesting, but there's gonna be teams that are gonna, be in need of a Dorian Finney-Smith or a Cam Johnson. We were already seeing it, it's ridiculous how much we've seen these rumors. I mean, we went throughout the whole draft, 2 draft streams thinking we'd either trade into the draft, moving these guys. No, it didn't happen. Didn't happen.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. We didn't make a single draft pick because we thought those guys were gone for sure. At least one of them.
At least one.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not even one of them.
The
So
Kings
if
did
we're at
make
least able to see what's up.
the Kings did like you all saw this. They did make that salary dump move
Mhm.
to get rid of Jalen McDaniels.
Yeah.
So they're $5-6 million dollars under the luxury tax. So I know maybe they're preparing for a bigger move.
Yeah. Kings could definitely use CJ. Lakers could use CJ. Shoot, so many. You know how all the teams that call. We've done the videos. Cavs. So many teams have called on CJ. Like, so I just think like he should be up there when it comes to at the deadline and even All-Star break. He should be at least the number 1 target. We should be looking on Twitter and then be mad reports. Oh, Brooklyn Nets Cam Johnson is getting looked or in talks with this. Our whole Twitter timeline should just be CJ talks in like February or January. Shout out to the chat. Jonathan was good. He said, looking at this, Cam Johnson to the Kings for Trey Lyles, Kevin Huerter, and a first-round draft pick. Doe to the Clippers for PJ and 2 second-round draft picks.
The Clippers aren't going to do that.
They're not going to give us PJ Tucker.
Yeah, well, it's not. It has nothing to do with PJ Tucker. They're $2 million above the tax, so I think they'd rather salary dump somebody else to get under the tax instead of going deeper into it.
Are they in the apron?
No.
Oh, they're not in the apron. Okay.
Just a few million
Shout,
above the tax.
shout out to Ian. He said, with the new CBA, it's not so easy making trades these days. All the GMs are being careful in who they want and need, except the Knicks. Yeah, it's definitely, it is definitely different. I get that. It's definitely different. But I've seen Leon Rose has done. Leon Rose is a perfect example because the way this guy is manipulating the CBA and salary cap is, come on, we could do that too. He did do some rocket science type things, but he basically showed there's a way to do it. Like if they can get rid of all that they got rid of in the past 2 years, and we can't get rid of CJ and DFS in a year and a half a year or so, come on, like you got to figure it out at some point. Like I said, because we have a time limit on DFS. It's not like we can keep him for so long. We could lose him for nothing if it doesn't happen.
At least there is like obviously like still the thing where it's like, there's gonna be teams that, there's gonna be teams where they're gonna be looking because they're gonna need just that one extra guy to just have, that's playing 3 and D for you.
Yeah.
And you're a player like that away from, trying to, win a chip, or maybe you're a fourth, fifth seed team and you're trying to, be more competitive.
Make that
There's
jump.
gonna be teams
Mhm.
like, yeah, who knows? Yeah, like, maybe the Sixers could, use a Dorian Finney-Smith boost come, January, February. Hope there's gonna be teams where, you never know where the Kings are gonna end up. Also could be very interesting to see how they go and play that out because that's another team where you don't necessarily think they're gonna win a championship, but they're going to make moves to go and try and do it because you just trade for DeMar DeRozan. You have De'Aaron Fox who's going to want a contract. Like you're going to have to keep, you're going to have to continue and make moves. And the Lakers still exist. Like they're like their cap situation is weird, but you never know what could happen. Approaching the trade deadline, there's going to be teams that are going to need to do everything in their power to go and try and win a chip. And they might not necessarily be the dumbest to go and acquire, a CJ and completely take all of their money away. But that's why, you facilitate trades and, why, a team that would trade for him wouldn't necessarily, be taking everything away.
There's
Yeah.
Trading with a
OKC.
guy
They have
like
a
that.
ton of picks. They have some space, some salary. Maybe they could pull something off.
Shout out to the chat. If you're joining us right now, we're reacting to the Brooklyn Nets. We just blew out the Wizards 131 to the 92. This is the second preseason game. If you're joining us, just hit that like button. Cam Thomas went off, and Ben Simmons had an impressive game. A lot of double-digit figure scoring. So Cam had led with 17. Ben had 11 and 5. Dennis had 13. CJ had 11. Jalen Wilson had 14 off the bench, and Shake Milton, impressive Shake Milton, 16 off the bench, 2 for 2 from 3. So if you're
6 for
joining us
7.
right now, yeah.
Oh, and Dariq Whitehead had a 3.
Oh, Dariq Whitehead, yes, of course. Tank commanding Dariq Whitehead. We gotta
What
love
did he do? He made a shot.
Yeah.
We did it. We did it. And we got the 3. We got the 3. We saw him
Yeah.
do that in the summer league. We saw like 1-3.
Yeah.
And we were able to
Yeah.
get that.
Watching the
But
Wizards, I
great.
realized like tonight, I'm like, damn, we're gonna be probably like the least watched team in the NBA. Like I was a little bit above the Wizards. Like people are gonna be like, if you put somebody in a room was like, yo, you gotta watch the Nets or you gotta watch the Wizards, I think they would choose us over the Wizards. Like that's how it would be.
I'm
Am
curious
I
to see
bugging? No, right?
I'm curious to see what the attendance numbers look like this year.
Yeah, like I think we'll still have like fans show up this year, and we're gonna be like, one of the worst teams in the NBA. It's not gonna be fun, but it's the prize. It's the long haul. Like if you're watching right now and you're a Nets fan, like you gotta think about the long haul. When we get that number one, everything could change, and it's a huge needle mover. These next 2 drafts are huge needle movers, and AJ and Boozer twins in 2026 could be better than 2025. That's how they have potential. So it's like these next 2 drafts are really pivotal, and I know it sucks where we're at right now, but it could be lit in a few months because the season goes kind of quick. Not gonna lie, right? Am I bugging? The season does gonna go kind of like,
I mean, we've been doing this shit for like what 3 years now.
yeah,
We know what that's like, having the season go by quick, but it will be, obviously a very be a test year for all Nets fans and anybody who, cares about this team to watch them every single, to watch them consistently and to go through a season that's going to be as horrible as this one. But who knows? who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe we're able to, actually have enjoyable moments.
Yeah.
Cam Thomas is still here. We're lucky enough to have that. Jordy is obviously, looks solid coaching wise, but we're gonna, with everything that we have, we know obviously what we're going for, and that's number one.
Yeah. That's what
Okay,
makes it
of
all.
course.
That's gonna make all these losses because it's like if you were a Spurs fan that year they drafted Wemby, I bet all those losses were like yes, 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 like just thinking about the goal because you got to think about the long term and like that prize at the end is like it's worth it. Losing all these games for is worth a Cooper or Ace Bailey. It's definitely worth it. You know what I'm saying? Or AJ
Oh yeah, and then
DeBansta in
yeah, we got
2026.
we got 2 years. We got 2 years,
Yeah.
and at least to see with that we have 2 years to see with high prospects, with very, very insane and outstanding prospects in terms of what we've seen. Like we know 2025 is gonna be big. We got Cooper, we got Ace, we got Dylan Harper, maybe VJ. But, like you said, AJ and the Boozer twins
Really
who just,
twins.
committed
Yeah.
to Duke.
Let me ask.
So
Yeah.
we'll have some interesting stuff.
Let me ask you this
Yeah.
before we get out of here. Jordy tonight, like, what do you did you guys see anything with the offense or defensively that really like? Well, Jordy did get his first win. Shout out to Jordy. He got his first win tonight, even though it doesn't really count, but preseason win. What do you guys think about him and like going forward? Did you see anything tonight that like stood out to you?
Well,
Mhm,
so offensively, I like the ball movement. You guys saw players moving the ball more. You saw some speed.
mhm,
Something I didn't like, which I hope he moves on from eventually, is focusing the offense on Simmons and Schroeder, and giving Cam Thomas more of those half court on ball playmaking opportunities.
yeah,
So that's the one thing on offense here that I think he needs to make the adjustment on, and defensively, like these guys are trying. Like they
yeah,
forced so many steals. I think they scored 35 points off of turnovers.
yeah. I was gonna say that too. Like the defense I saw against the Clippers that second quarter last game, I was like, "Yo, we could like we have these moments where this team could really up the defense and it like really looks good." And I think because on paper we have like, and this is just without Claxton, so it's like when you add Claxton to that, like there's moments where you can have like really good defensive moments with this team, and they could
Got a
lock
lot
in.
of tall, long, versatile defenders like Zaire
Yeah,
Williams, DFS, Simmons.
Simmons, Clax, yeah, it's like we got a lot of like guys that can switch that
And
1 through 5.
and even CJ's looked alright on defense in terms of, like I feel like in terms of that, it hasn't been too bad. We've been
Yeah.
able to see that. That's
Clowney has
another
looked
guy.
strong. Jalen Wilson.
Yeah, like we have like the moments. I think like now Jordy carving out our identity. Maybe it's defense. His identity going forward this year in defense, and because right now that's what I think the Nets kind of excel at. Because outside of Cam Thomas and our offense is not really the one to watch. It's not really so beautiful, but and we're not going to probably be like scoring in the hundreds. What's our points per game going to be? Probably like below hundreds. So it's like,
And we've seen moments of us just, being really just kinda
yeah,
down completely in terms of our offense, these past 2
yeah,
preseason games. Yeah, we had 131, but it was like, it
yeah,
was awful.
yeah.
When
Because
Thomas and Schroeder aren't on the floor, like it does not look good.
yeah, it does not look good at all. So at defense, like our defense could be our calling card this year, and maybe Jody, like that's going to be our identity going forward because I think he enjoys defense and like scheming like that. So we'll see what type of coach he is. Like, are you going to be one of those offensive coaches, defensive coaches? Like, what's your play style going to be? Hopefully,
You see the term, how he's feeling in terms of, like everyone playing with effort. That's the one thing, we've been able to really see out of everybody in
yeah,
terms of our defensive effort. Like everyone's playing their tail off, and that probably is what our identity will be going forward. Just because we only, we only have so much on offense. Like yeah, we have Schroeder, but there's not much. And but defensively, everyone looks engaged.
yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, make sure you guys hit that like button for us if you're watching this, and if you're watching on the playback. Appreciate you guys so much. We'll be having content dropping soon, and again for Hoops World, make sure you guys chime in if you want more NBA content in general, just not Nets. We talk about the whole NBA. We have an NBA channel, so just go subscribe to that. NetsKingdom.net. Check out Cypher's articles; they're going up on that. And again, we're on Instagram, Nets Kingdom 1, and on Twitter. So appreciate you guys so much. We'll be back. It's gonna be a tough year, but you gotta stay strong. It's gonna be an L year, but just think about the long run. Think about them W's in the end of the year when we're gonna get that that draft lottery comes and we get that top 5 pick, and it's lit from there. So shout out to everybody in the chat: John, Ian, Mo, King Wolfpack, Saints in here, Kevin, and Mo. Appreciate you guys so much, man. We'll be back.